Hey everybody, please do listen to me, especially if you've been plagued with a lack of energy and trying to find out things that may help your physical holy temples to feel better. But for some reason, no matter what takes place, you go to the doctors and they may give you potions and such. These sorcerers do such, made from unclean things for the most part, and you take them and you might even feel well for a short while, and then all of a sudden you just start feeling as though you have no energy, you're sluggish, your mind doesn't seem to work as you know it should, and you might even do cleanses and such. I just recently have finished up here a 2-week parasite cleanse, and I did feel pretty decent the first couple days after I had started this 2 Sabbaths ago. I felt better in areas I hadn't in a while, but especially mentally, as you can see here. Oh yeah, I made 3 third placers in the tournaments this week as well. And you can see there were 506,761 players, my friends. But then as the days went on, and I'm wearing 100% cotton fibers for most of my clothing. Otherwise, I do have synthetics that I've been wearing, which were all 100%. I was shocked to find, I don't know if it was a t-shirt that was put in the package wrongly, because I buy them in packs of like 4 or 5, wherein I was going to figure out the size I should wear from Chinese manufacturers or other Asian manufacturers that use a different sizing for clothing than we do here. And I discovered a t-shirt, the best one I liked because of the vibrant colors of it, though gray, but found out it was 50% polyester and 50% cotton. So I immediately tossed it in the trash can. I wear only 100% fibers, so I had thought. However, even these fibers, my friends, from cotton, only put off a frequency of a healthy human body, which is at 100 hertz. That's what a healthy body puts off, and it's lesser if you have diseases or injuries, things of this sort. But the deceased human body has a frequency of 15 hertz. Hey, look, I humbly apologize. I'm saying a deceased human body puts off 15 megahertz, and I am incorrect. Please put up with the errors. I will correct myself toward the end of the video as well. I misread diseased and said deceased. Am I wrong? Please forgive me, but please do pay close attention to the rest of what is said. I love you. Do you still love me? And many of the fibers today, like silk and the synthetics, put off 15 hertz, which is the same frequency as a deceased human body. So consider it, my friends, when you put on frequencies. And sometimes I do wear rose oil, because rose oil, 320 megahertz, or I just say hertz, which is one of the highest frequencies in essential oils. And by putting on a frequency that is 320 megahertz does raise the energy levels and such in a person. But consider, my friends, linen, 100% linen puts off a frequency of 5,000 megahertz. Wool puts off 5,000 as well, but when you combine the fibers, or you wear linen on top of or under wool garments, they cancel out each other's frequency and brings it to 0. And think about it, my friends, a deceased human body operates at 15 hertz or 15 megahertz. And if you're wearing clothing that nullify each other out to where it's 0, you're bringing your frequency down below that of death. Even synthetic fibers operate at about 15 megahertz, the same level of a deceased human body. And when you wear that frequency, I don't see how it can energize you in any way. And I've been finding this out over the years. I had first thought about linen some 20 years ago, give or take, as clothing, and I had bought a couple shirts, and I do recall that I did feel a little more chipper when I wore them, but because I always felt so bad, it really didn't impress me all that much. And it may be because of the fact that when you're wearing something with 5,000 megahertz being put off the frequency, but yet you're wearing things like cotton that are only 100 megahertz. I believe it deflects, and that's what I'm researching now, the full effect of the linen, rendering it way less than what it would be if one was to wear 100% linen. And please understand, I don't know all these things to be facts yet, especially in my life, because I've just ordered an entirely new wardrobe. I even found men's linen socks, 100% flax socks. So I originally purchased 5 pairs. Of course, they're coming in on like Monday, July 29th, and today is June the 8th. And it was $23.05, almost $5 a pair. And of course, the price is quite steep, but it's brand new. A lot of these things that I am purchasing on eBay are not brand new. And everything looks wrinkled, but I just purchased these breeches here. And when you buy from eBay, most everything has a price for shipping here, added to the price of the garment. But $23.98, my friends, for a pair of those breeches that I hope will fit. And 100% linen is a pretty fine price. However, if you were to go to the Goodwill or Salvation Army or thrift stores and such, which I am prohibited from doing unless I hire a taxi, and then the wait for a taxi can be hours. So to get dropped off at a store, for me to save some money at this time, and then to call for a pickup that might take hours to come to pick me up. You'd be much better off, my friends, going to a thrift store and just read the labels. This is a nice shirt, and I don't know if you can make this out too well or not, but it shows here 100% linen, and that's what you look for, my friends. And as you can see, I ordered plenty of things. I'm really glad about these 100% linen briefs. And what I like about the briefs, you can see here, they have pockets, and there's a zipper on that pocket. And I find that totally amazing, my friends, that the Asians will put pockets in their underwear, in their briefs, but I'll show you in a moment where they don't have pockets on their t-shirts. And I love a Flax t-shirt with pockets, but after I ordered those other socks, my friends, I said, I don't know if 5 pairs is going to do me well enough. I need to maybe get more. And so I got 5 pairs of these multicolored socks that are 100% linen, which prompted me to buy another 2 pairs of the 100% linen briefs. And then, of course, I bought some other shirts and breeches. I love my flannels. And though this won't be really like a flannel, it has the pattern of one. All 100% linen, my friends. And then I got to thinking, it's like, when I go to sleep on synthetic fibers, and I'm covered by synthetic fibers of the sleeping bag. And so I checked this out, and I spent hours looking, my friends, and I found this one here for $20 to fit my twin, almost $9 to ship it. But when I look at the material here, it does look like there's some thickness to it. And that's the bed sheet, and of course the pillowcase. Though the style doesn't really ring bells and whistles for me, it might a little bit be on the opposite side of that. However, it is linen, my friends, and you can see here it is sold because I bought it. And then I got to thinking about my sleeping bag I use, and so, though expensive, almost broke me here, I hunted down this blanket, 100% flax, 100% linen. And I checked out the dimensions on it, and it will fit me, I do believe. And I'm very excited for it to come, but once again, it's going to take days. I could have got this from a thrift store or something, but this will be here Thursday, January 20, and up to July 1st, so that's not too awfully bad. Now, something else, my friends, about the flax blankets and sheets and clothing as well. In the description down here of this flax sheet, it shows right here, 100% natural, ecological softened linen blanket, plaid, with thermal properties to warm you in the cold and cool gently in the heat. ornamental on natural unpainted linen using jacquard weaving. It does not cause allergy. Flax fiber has antifungal and antibacterial effects. So I learned things just from ordering this here, and it cost $133.76. But my friends, I'm into doing this experiment 100%. And you can see here, these are what they call t-shirts, because I am a t-shirt wearing man and I detest anything without pockets, and that's why I was so excited about the briefs. But here we got t-shirts, which are $13.32 each, and I find that rather expensive. But for what I'm hoping to achieve, my friends, I may be able to cut down on my supplements and such. And if you buy two, they're $11.99 each. And so I bought two of the blue, two of the gray, and two of the black, because I want these fibers as close to my body as possible. And 5,000 megahertz is the frequencies, my friends, of these linen garments. And then I had just recently won this shirt, which I'm rather excited and waiting for it to come in. I mean, $9.99. You know, a $10 bill for a shirt is not too bad, but then you add $6.60, and this was an auction, my friends. I was the only one that bidded on this item, and I must say that I have several other items that are still being bid on, but I am winning on these items. And so I'm all in, my friends. As you have seen, this experiment here is not just being jumped into. I've done a lot of research, but I was going toward bamboo, actually, and I had recently discovered that in the process of making bamboo fibers, they use a lot of chemicals. So the question is, are those chemicals retained in the bamboo fiber? I don't know what frequency, but I know that rayon has a frequency of 15 megahertz, and it's made from bamboo and wood. And to tell you the truth, I've really swayed from the linen because it speaks of the two witnesses coming dressed in linen, and I didn't want to have any part of that. I hope I'm not one of the two witnesses. I do know I have 143,999 brothers who are scattered to the farthest parts of the earth and to the farthest parts of the heavens. But I believe I had been deceived in the clothing that I wore, thinking nothing about it. Who thinks about a frequency that is put off by the cloth that you put on your holy temples? And my health, my friends, has been horrible since I was born. I've prayed that I don't wake up for many years. And around 2 weeks ago, right after I had posted a video, and I woke up and the inside of my mouth was tore up. It felt like someone hit me with a baseball bat in the face. From here all the way to the back, the teeth in the top and the bottoms were loosened. One up here, the gum pulled away from the inside of it. There's a spot where I'm missing a tooth, but it was like something just ripped my gum away from my tooth. And I had all these cuts and abrasions through my mouth, and I was wondering what in the world. And I started having severe teeth pain. I'm telling you, it was maddening. It was one of the worst pains I've been through, and I was praying, what is it you're trying to show me? I know Satan don't like what I put out, and you always let her kick my butt, but what is it that I'm really lacking in and trying to bring back the health to this holy temple that you've given me? And I was praying a lot about that, and it wasn't even a week ago when I woke up a few times during the night, and I hadn't been waking up after I started the parasite cleanse. I'll tell you, I started it and I didn't get up at night. In fact, I had even slept about 14 hours the first day after the first initial 3 doses. And I started feeling really well, but then I just started feeling drained again, and I couldn't put it together. And I'm asking, what is it that I'm lacking? And so I woke up a few times one night with 100% linen on my mind. And it's like, what in the world? I wasn't thinking about clothes. I've got all the clothes I need. Now, most all my clothes is going to go into the garbage. I'll keep a pair of blue jeans in case I have to get out and do some dirty work or whatever. But for the most part, everything's being tossed. I'm going to have a completely new wardrobe. in socks, my friends, trying to find 100% cotton or just 100% anything kind of socks. It took me hours to find what I do have and don't like very much because they're pretty tight. I could only get them in a certain size. And then to find these 100% flax socks, 100% linen, my friends, I was like in heaven. I've not been this excited in many, many years. And what really amazes me is that some people, when they even write about the benefits of linen, it boggles my mind. It's like religious people out there that read the scriptures and they don't understand what they're speaking about, but they get excited that they've got the thing memorized, the verse memorized, and they use it all the time or whatever. And that's what the article about the empowered sustenance reminds me of, and I'll show you why. Now, I am promoting this article. I'm not desiring to be infringing whatsoever upon the copyright, and I'm only referring to it for the facts that are stated herein, as well as why I made the statement I had just previously made. It says, the healing frequency of fabric, support your health with your clothes. And the article starts out with, the story goes like this. Dr. Heidi Yellen was curious about the instructions in the Torah, Old Testament, Deuteronomy 22 and verse 11, which states, do not wear clothes of wool and linen woven together. And you can read here, it says, you shall not wear a garment of different sorts. Then it gets a little more specific by saying, such as wool and linen mixed together. And that is just before you see here where you shall make tassels in the four corners of the clothing with which you cover yourself. And I do that too, my friends, as those who do frequent our King's channel might tell you that they've seen in various videos. And it's really interesting to note, even on a scientific basis, that is specifically stated, such as wool and linen mixed together. Who would have ever known that the two of them together are both operating on 5,000 gigahertz, but when mixed linen and wool is zero, they nullify each other. It appears that the frequencies cancel each other out, the author says. Maybe this accounts for the ancient instructions not to mix these fabrics. But Dr. Heidi Yellen here, in 2003, she ran a study to examine the frequencies of different fabric. She used a machine called the Environ machine, which had been used to measure the signature of frequency, which had been used to measure the signature frequency output of plants and the human body. The machine's inventor, Bob Graham, found that the human body had different frequencies based on the level of health. The healthier body, the higher the frequency. A healthy human body registered a frequency of 100 megahertz, but a very diseased body, which I had erroneously stated as deceased, excuse me, but a very diseased body had a frequency of 15. So think about your body as being like a battery on your phone. You know that the only way that you can increase your battery's capacity is by a outside source. And so even our bodies, we need to be in sunlight. We really need to have our bare feet in the grass and things of this sort, hugging trees, my friends, because of the frequencies that they put off that help our bodies heal. And here you can see that just by the use of linen and or wool, they both have a frequency of 5,000 megahertz. And the reason I'm choosing to go with linen is because in the summertime, I find wool is not going to be the most desirable thing to wear. Maybe if I get rich someday, I will get all winter garments made from wool, but as far as the briefs go, I don't know. Wool is usually pretty itchy. But I want to do studies, my friends, on all these other fabrics. And from what I have seen so far in my studies, that linen and wool are the highest in frequencies. And it's interesting to see how a very diseased body had a frequency of 15, and the things that diseased bodies love to put on are things like silk and polyester and rayon that have a frequency as well of 15 sickly megahertz. And she says, pretty interesting, right? So if you'd like, go ahead and put this on pause, read her, even better yet, go to her site and check it out. And consider here where she says, I think it's possible the high frequencies of fabrics like linen and wool bring energy to the human body and support the body's healing process. And she gets into other problems with synthetic fabrics, leaving microplastics and such and other chemicals that may be absorbed into the skin, causing our health to spiral downward as well. And then she runs into the recommended natural fiber clothing, and she says she's been detoxing her closet for years now, phasing out my use of synthetic fabrics and trying various natural fiber clothing brands. She says Pat Clothing has been my go-to for close to a decade for what? For organic cotton basics. Their clothes all feature organic cotton and are produced in fair trade factories. And you can use the link she provides at 20% off your first packed order for organic cotton basics. And again, my friends, I was just pointing this out because she recommends organic cotton basics after she wrote up here about linen and wool being a 5,000 megahertz, and the organic cotton that she's promoting operates on 100 megahertz. So hopefully you can see now why I made that statement that the religious people of the world today, when they read scriptures and even quote scriptures, things like, if you want life everlasting, keep the commandments, and yet they'll eat pork or they'll break the Sabbath day. They don't wear the tassels, the fringes, the seats, or the lots, but they'll say the words telling them they're supposed to, but they don't do it. And in the same light, and I mean no offense to anybody, when I point out that Dr. Heidi Yellen, she speaks about how linen and wool operate at 5,000 megahertz, but yet she promotes organic cotton that only operates at 100 megahertz, which is the full capacity of a human body that is healthy. A human healthy body puts out 100 megahertz. I see no way that wearing organic cotton that puts out 100 megahertz can charge at all the human body. However, I do see in her writings things she doesn't, such as maybe we should wear linen that puts off 5,000 megahertz to actually do, as the title of this disclosure speaks of, the healing frequency of fabric. Support your health with your clothes. And yet she promoted, organic cotton. And so do stay tuned, my friends. If you know things about linen, if you've had experiences with wearing such. In the New King James Perversion, linen is mentioned 105 times. So I believe there has to be some importance to it, my friends. Even hospital bed sheets, whether they still make them out of linen specifically or not, I do not know. They may have changed because they knew long ago the healing qualities of linen. However, in my opinion, I don't find hospitals and such really wanting to heal anybody. I don't know of the sorcerers desiring to heal anybody. There's no business in true health. They used linen as wrapping for wounds. They would put honey and olive oil on the wound and they would wrap it in linen because they knew the healing qualities of linen. But I believe this knowledge has been forgotten over the years, or actually not promoted after they started bringing out all these other garments made very beautifully, vibrant colors and everything in these synthetic fabrics that I believe is known that it is decreasing your body's frequency. And again, organic cotton operating at 100 megahertz. Now, if you're operating because you're diseased with 15 megahertz, well, cotton at 100 will help you feel better. But if you're healthy, operating at 90, 100 megahertz, and you start wearing linen giving off 5,000 megahertz, I do believe that would benefit the body. Don't you think so? And so let me take it one more step further into perceptions, as in I stepped on a pop top and I blew out my flip-flop. Now, let's say that a cell phone puts out what synthetic fibers puts out, and just call it 15 watts. The speaker runs on 15 watts at full volume, wherein synthetic fibers put out 15 megahertz. So the vibratory effect on your holy temple would be that which you would get from a speaker here. However, say that the organic cotton that operates at 100 megahertz is like a regular home with children's stereos and such that would operate at 100 watts, let's say. But then you are sitting there watching your stereo and such, operating at 100 watts, when all of a sudden down the street comes some individuals whose windows are rattling from the speakers they have in their vehicle operating at 5,000 watts, vibrating the windows in your house while you're watching your 100 watt television or stereo. And that's what I'm hoping that you can see more clearly, what it is that I'm actually seeing in this, causing this obsession of mine that has just come upon me concerning 100% linen. And so it's just my opinion and desire to let you know that I'm going to conduct this experiment, my friends. I've invested and didn't even know how it was I got some extra money in my bank. I don't mean it came from somewhere. I mean, I just have got everything that I need. I haven't had to buy new things here for almost a year. And over that year, I've accumulated almost $1,000 I had extra, feeling quite great. But then I realized, after being awakened a few times on my bed with 100% linen on my mind, that must be the reason why I had that extra. Must have been the reason I got whooped so bad after the last video I put out 2 weeks ago. That was begging that I didn't wake up. I hurt so bad. I still do, but I found that I actually endured what I thought was way too much put on me, once again, and now I want to not only just wear clothing, which I have been doing, except for the one problem there, 100% fibers, no mixture of the fibers, but taking it a step above to only linen, 100% linen, my friends, and let's see what doing so does for my health, and I'll share it with you. Please study these things out. If you know something, comment. Study to show yourselves approved. Prove all things. Know that I do love you. 2 John chapter 1 and verse 6 tells you how you can love too. And know that I am praying for you always. Bye.